I'm back, and one of the things that I want to do, I'm about freedom. I believe that any man who is a man and does not want to be free to govern himself is you're not a man. You know, I think men. I want power over myself. I don't give a fuck what anybody says, what your little fucking excuse is. I do not have any. Here, let me do something here. All right. Okay. Voluntarism. Okay. I'm, I'm I tell you, sometimes I know how to spell shit, sometimes I don't. But anyway, I want to talk about wage slavery, and I'm going to continue to talk about wage slavery. But I'm also going to talk about anarchy and voluntarism. Okay? Now, they're closely related but distinct concepts. Uh, Anarchy is derived from the Greek anarchia, meaning without a ruler. This denotes the absence of rulers or hierarchical authority, not chaos or lawlessness. Now, the government and their propaganda machine, the news will tell you that what goes on with Antifa and Black Lives Matter and that is anarchy. No, that's chaos. Some people think that anarchists are communists and socialists. No, they're statists. I'm not a statist. I want to rule me. I want to govern myself. I can do that. I'm Attica. I can do that well. Okay. Now it's the anarchy is the rejection of coercive governance, advocating for social order through voluntary cooperation rather than imposed rules. I will have no problem if I need to volunteer or give up my will, in a sense, to help someone else out, or if I need help. If I have a pothole out in front of my house on the road, I can patch that myself. If the community comes together at some point and says we need to pave the road, I will give money in order to get a paving crew in to pave the road. I got no problem with that. What I have a problem with is when I get a tax bill every fucking year, twice a year. Now, if you're someone who's going to talk about my road and my government services, God, what a pathetic human being you are. How pathetic. How many people have lost their homes because they could not afford their tax? Or they decided, I'm tired of this shit. I want this money to go to something else that's more important because I want to get this fixed or whatever. And they couldn't do it unless they didn't pay their damn tax. And yes, I know you're going to open your mouth and keep yapping because that's all you're good for. And like I said, if you're not a man, you're going to do that. If you're a man, you're going to go, you're damn right, I want to rule myself. But anyway, now that I got that out of the way, um, volunteerism, okay, it's a rejection of coercive governance, advocating for social order through voluntary cooperation rather than imposed rules. Voluntarism, stemming from the Latin voluntas, meaning will, emphasizes that all human interaction should be based on voluntary participation and rejection of coercion. Okay, all right. I just got this through the fucking mail. Okay? I got this through the fucking mail. Federal grand jury duty. Oh, well, isn't that great? Won't that be a great experience? There you go again. All right? Now, if I don't want to go to this, If I don't want to go to this, I will have to stand before I will have to stand before a judge. If I don't want to go, if I say no, I have the freedom to stay here, go to my job, and do the shit that I need to do. I don't want to go to your fucking jury duty. If I do not go to this, they're going to force me, they're going to coerce me to stand before a judge and pay a $1,000 fine because I didn't go to their jury duty. And I want to thank all you males out there for standing with me when I oppose this. But you're not, are you? Because you ain't got a pair. You're a bunch of gutless cowards. I don't want to lose $1,000, so I'm going to have to play along with their stupidity. That's coercive bullshit. And I don't give a damn, like I said, about your excuse. Experience? Wouldn't that be great? Okay, right. Wouldn't that be great? That there, uh, let's see. The usual term of service is 18 months. That's a year and a half of 2 days out of a month. 2 days out of a month that I get paid $50 a day. Okay? $50 a day. Well, at my job, okay, I got to bust my ass. I'm on piece rate and I can earn more than $50 a day. So they're taking money from me. So it's theft as well. They're manipulating me, they're bullying me, and they're stealing from me. Well, I believe that eye for eye, tooth for tooth, skin for skin. I believe that if you do to me, I do to you. Okay? But see, they're the government. Okay? And the statist that votes for the government wants that. The statist will cry about it, but they want that because, well, they still go vote. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, no, wait a minute. Tuesday. Tuesday, all the little statists went out and they went to vote. And then they got their little sticker or their little button. It's like, look at my sticker. It's like, oh, ain't that great? What are you, like 5? Walking around with a little button on them. I'm a retard. I'm stupid. My God, man. Have some self-respect. Okay? Let's get back to this. Now, it says while both ideologies share the goal of a society based on voluntary association, they are not synonymous. Some argue that true anarchy necessitates voluntarism. I do that. I believe in that. I believe that yes, if I need to volunteer my time, okay, yes, I'm going to help you or I need help. But fine, no problem. I need to volunteer my time, effort, money, resources to help the collective. I don't believe in collectivism unless there's a need for it. Okay. Uh, let's see. Some argue that true anarchy necessitates volunteerism, as any system imposing rules through authority contradicts the principle of non coercion. However, others contend that volunteerism is not inherently anarchist, as it can exist within systems that still involve hierarchical or coercive structures, such as certain forms of capitalism or state based models where services are voluntary but still backed by state power. Yeah, now see, backed by state power. See, there are people that will argue for that and go, well, you need stuff that's backed by. No, you don't. If I go, if we're in an anarchist society and I go to somebody and I say, would you do this? And he says, no. Okay. I go find somebody else. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to be running to the state like some people would do and going, he discriminated against me. And the state's like, oh boy, let's help this person. That way we can take rights away from people. Okay. Let's see. uh, let's see. For instance, some voluntarists support a government that provides services only if payment is voluntary, which places them in a position nearly identical to anarcho capitalism. I'm going to go into that. I'm learning stuff about this stuff, so you'll be learning with me. The distinction is further complicated by differing interpretations. Some view voluntarism as a broader philosophical foundation that can support various political systems, including anarchism, while others see it as a more specific ideology that aligns closely with libertarian or anarcho capitalist views. In contrast, anarchism often includes a deeper critique of power structures, including economic hierarchies and indirect coercion, which voluntarism may not fully address. Additionally, while volunteering, such as firefighting or community aid, it is often cited as a practical example of anarchism due to its voluntary cooperative nature. It is not inherently anarchism unless it is explicitly part of a non coercive, anti authoritarian framework. Now here's the thing. I mean, I don't look at, okay, you give up your will to be under someone else's authority. So, okay, I don't have a problem with that. But um, you just take wage slavery. You get under someone else's authority in wage slavery, and these people will use all kind of coercive means to keep you under their little, because they're power. Okay, you can't do this, you shouldn't do that, shouldn't say this, blah blah blah. In an anarchist society, if you volunteer, I would want it to be that if you decide to try to manipulate me, all right, I can tell you to fuck off and you're just going to have to take it. Okay, do I want to continue to work for you? Well, maybe I do. Don't try to manipulate me. Go fuck yourself. All right? I mean, I'm the type of guy that if I am in the wrong, I will admit it. If I and most people know that, unless you're a psychopath, a sociopath, uh, who don't realize that, you know when you're doing wrong. Okay. Uh, and one of the things I do, if say I was over people and we were in a anarchist society or whatever, I would give people options. Okay, I would not just like um, in a lot of the wage slave work environments, you really don't have any options. The option is you do what I tell you, even though it's socialist communist bullshit, or you can leave and go to some other asshole who's doing the same thing. That is where, you do need rules, okay? And it would be, you're no different than me. I have allowed you to have authority over me, and now you're trying to manipulate me, okay? So, in a situation like that, you do need to have protection, okay, for the person getting screwed over. I believe in that case, uh, whoever, if you're the worker and this guy's trying to screw you over, in a society like that, you would have more freedom to tell him to go to hell. Okay, I don't have a problem working here, but now we're having a problem, and you need to understand that it ain't going to go well for you, despite who you think you are. Now, if you can go to some other place, well, then leave and go somewhere else. You have that ability now, but like I said, it's I've seen that a lot of people are. It's like you have a communist or a socialist attitude with the people that are up here in the hierarchy controlling you and coercion. Okay. I've dealt with a lot of coercion in my life in with work environments and trying to shame you if you don't do what they tell you. Well, we want you to work on Saturday. Well, I don't want to work on Saturday because I got my own work. Okay, my time's taken enough by you guys, and I want to do that. Well, I don't know, man. Maybe you don't want a job here. Well, maybe I don't. That kind of petty shit. That deserves a punch in the mouth. That would be a rule that we should have in an anarchist society, where I don't care if you're the guy who's in charge, you say that shit to me, right in the mouth. Now, don't ever say that to me or anybody ever again. All right? Because if we're helping you out, you ought to be happy. Uh, let's see. All right. In summary, volunteerism and anarchy are deeply connected through their shared opposition to coercion and advocacy for voluntary cooperation. Yes, um, I have no problem, you know, uh, you know, working for somebody if they're not coercive. But if they're coercive and it's bad habit with them, that's all you're waiting for. I mean, it, like I said, I've dealt and I deal with that. Requirement, this thing, that thing. It's like, whatever we can do. The government said we need to do this, so now you can't do that. Okay? It's like, okay, well, right there, you know, it's pretty much, yeah, go fuck yourself. I mean, I know I'm gonna have to go along with it, you know. And this whole, well, why don't you just leave and find another job? Right. Like during COVID, when people were telling you to mask up, when companies were forcing people to get vaxxed or you're fired, you're fired. So where are you going to go? Because all these other companies are doing the same thing, manipulation and coercion, because you need to work. You need to earn this fiat currency that ain't worth anything. And we know that. So we got it up over you. See, I have an ace card. And you're like, isn't that the Joker? It's like, well, it's my ace card. Okay. Because I'm in power and I can say what I want. That's petty and weak. All right. You're nothing but an authoritarian pile of shit. So let's see. Let's finish this up. Okay. Volunteerism can exist independently of anarchism, and not all volunteerist systems are anarchist. The relationship between the two is best understood as one of significant overlap, with volunteerism often serving as a foundational principle within anarchist thought, but not necessarily defining it. Okay. I mean, now, in a sense, nowadays, we do have we have somewhat volunteerism. I can quit my job and go somewhere else and put them as authority over me. So, yes, or I can create my own business and be my own boss, which puts me over me, but I rather have an anarchist society where people understand that even if you are over someone, that you need to treat that person the way you want to be treated. Okay, don't and it can go both ways. You can have some employee think that he can lord it over the boss because well, now I have freedom. No, you treat each other with respect and you honor each other. You don't try to manipulate, you know. If somebody don't want to work for the boss and they're lazy, get rid of them. If a boss acts like a jerk, smack him in the fucking mouth. I have a society where that would be like, you can only go so far. All right. You're not bringing your gun to work. Okay. You keep that damn thing home. We don't need that. But, okay. I've been doing a job for you and I've been doing a good job for you. So, a little respect here. Okay. So, yeah, I'm a anarchist and I believe in voluntarism. That would be, I mean, to govern myself and to allow to be allowed that ability to just my will be done. All right. So there you go. This was pretty much off the cuff, uh, but that's going to be some of what I'm going to talk about. Everything I want to talk about is having freedom. And the thing that really irritates me is when people argue against it, because I don't know if they're trying to be intellectual or they're trying to, you know, yeah, I'm afraid. I don't know. I think with some it's the I'm intellectual and I have all the yeah. I don't care. I'm scared. Well, grow a pair. Because like I said, if you're a man, you want to govern yourself. If you're not a man, you don't. You have all kind of arguments. All right. So anarchy and volunteerism. That's I'm not going to entitle it part one, but that's what I'm going to entitle the video, and I'm going to come back with more because I'm learning about anarcho-capitalism. There's all kinds of stuff, um, and I think there's even some anarcho stuff that is like really, it almost seems like authoritarian. I don't know, but I am learning about it from a guy named Larkin Rose. I'm going to put um, his YouTube channel URL in. I like what he has to say. Uh, so, anyway, that's it for today, and I'll be back.